Ram. Sarvebhyah Hritpurvaka Namaskaraha. Welcome to class 34 of Learn to Chant Soundaryalahari. So we have completed 80 verses, that is 80% of the portion for this webinar. We have 20 more left. And last class, we also had a revision and many of you chanted individually. So today, let us commence learning straight from 81 onwards because we have already revised the verses till 80. So we will begin learning from 81 to 84. And if there is time left, maybe we can have very few individual chanting, but let us see how much time we have left for that. So welcome to all of you and to our panelists for today, Prithvi, Bihan and Shivani. As usual, let us begin with Guru Vandanam and Mangala Shlokaha. Request all of you to please sit up straight and chant Guru Vandanam Mangala Shlokaha in the first verse with me. Gururev gatir gurumeva bhaje Gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave Na guru paramam shishurasmi guroho Matirasti gurau mama pahi guru Shruti smriti purananamayam karunalayam Namami bhagavat pada shankaram lokashankaram Soundaryalahari kartre sarvamangaladayine Shankaracharya varyaya Yatirajayate namaha Shankarupena machittam Pankikritam abhudyaya Kinkari yasya samaya Shankaracharyamashraya Shibashak Yuktaha yadi bhavati shakta prabhavitum nachedevan na khalu kushalaspanditum atastvamadhyam harihara virinchadibhirapi pranantum stotum va kathamakrita punya Prabhavati. Okay, let us begin from 81. Prithvi, please unmute. Ram. Gurutvam vistaram.
Gurutvam vistaram.
Shiti dharapati parvati nijat
Kshiti dharapati parvati nijat
Nitam badachidya Tvayi harana rupena nidadhe
Tvayi harana rupena nidadhe
Ataste vistirnaha Guru Rayamashesha वसुमतीम्
गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीं गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीं
नितम्बप्राग्भारः
नितम्बप्राग्भारः नितम्बप्राग्भारः
स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च
स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च
उत्तमम् gurutvam vistaram. Here gurutvam, so if you see there is that dvitvam before the gurutvam, extra th is heard, gurutvam vistaram. So anuswara followed by va, you could optionally chant it as gurutvam vistaram. Kshiti dharapatihi parvati nijad. So visarga followed by pa, upadhmaniya. Kshiti dharapati parvati nijat. Nitambadachidya. Chi is mahaprana. Please note that dya should not be prolonged. Nitambadachidya. It should not be prolonged as there. There is no dirgha. Tvai harana rupena nidadhe. Dhe is mahaprana. Ataste vistirnaha gururayamashesham vasumatim. Again here anuswara followed by ba. You could either chant the anuswara completely or gururayamashesham vasumatim nitamba pragbharaha. So here dvitvam for pa, the pa is doubling. Nitamba pragbharaha. Bha is mahaprana. Sthagayati. Tha is mahaprana. Laghutvam. Again dvitvam. Laghutvam. So you're hearing that double th there. Laghutvam. So ghu is mahaprana. Laghutvam nayati cha. Anuswara followed by na. You could optionally combine it as laghutvan nayati cha instead of laghutvam nayati cha. Cha again is not a dirgha. It is not a long letter. So we should take care not to prolong it while chanting with the tune. This is one of those verses, as you see, where you're able to pause between the pada in all the padas. So there is ample time to take your breath and then start the next part of the pada. So let us do one pada at a time now. Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijad.
Guru
I'm unable to hear Prithvi. Is it the same for all of you? I'm unable to hear you, Prithvi. I think there is some connection issue. Yes, I think others also aren't able to hear. So okay. I think I'm also not able to see her also now. Okay, let us do one thing. Prithvi, is your connection okay? Or if you want, we could continue with Shivani and I can come back to you for the next verse.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, Shivani, please share your screen and yeah, let us continue from where we stopped. Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijat.
Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijat. Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijat.
नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे
नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे
अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम्
अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम् अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम्
नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च
नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च.
Now we do one half a verse at a time. Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijat nitambadachidya tvayi harana rupena nidadhe.
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात् नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात् नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे
अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम् नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च.
अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम् नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च. अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम् नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च.
Uttamam. Now the entire verse. Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijat nitambadachidya tvayi harana rupena nidadhe ataste vistirnaha गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीं नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च.
गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात् नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीम् नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वं नयति च. गुरुत्वं विस्तारं क्षितिधरपतिः पार्वती निजात् नितम्बादाच्छिद्य त्वयि हरणरूपेण निदधे अतस्ते विस्तीर्णः गुरुरयमशेषां वसुमतीं नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च.
Tamam. Next one. Vihan.
Ram 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 Ram.
Ram Ram Ram. Karindranam shundan.
Karindranam shundan. Karindranam shundan.
Kanaka kadali kanda patalim.
Kanakakadalim kandapatalim. Kanakakadalim kandapatalim.
Ubhabhyam urubhyam.
Ubhabhyam urubhyam. Ubhabhyam urubhyam.
Ubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati.
Ubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati. Ubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati.
Suvrittabhyam patyuhu.
Suvrittabhyam patyuhu. Suvrittabhyam patyuhu.
Pranati kathinabhyam girisute.
Pranati katinabhyam girisute. Pranati katinabhyam girisute.
Vidhignye janubhyam.
Vidhignye janubhyam. Vidhignye janubhyam.
Vibudhakari kumbhadvayamasi.
Vibudhakari kumbhadvayamasi. Vibudhakari kumbhadvayamasi.
So like you see in the previous verse and in this verse, we have many Mahapranas. So we should be careful to chant each of them clearly. And like we always learn, we are not supposed to interchange. Where there is no Mahaprana, we are not supposed to chant a Mahaprana unnecessarily. Karindranam shundan kanakakadali kanda patalim ubhabhyam urubhyam. Here ubhabhyam urubhyam. See, there are three bhas, Mahaprana. Ubhayamapi, again bha. Nirjitya bhavati, bha. Bhavati is a hrasva, short letter. We are not supposed to prolong it. Suvrittabhyam, bha. Patyuhu. Pranati kathinabhyam, T and bha. Pranati kathinabhyam girisute. So here anuswara followed by gi. You could either chant the anuswara completely as pranati kathinabhyam or optionally combine the sandhi and chant it as pranati kathinabhyam girisute. Vidhignye, dhi is Mahaprana. Janubhyam, bha is Mahaprana. Vibudha kari kumbhadvayamasi. Vibudha, dha is Mahaprana. Kari kumbha, bha is Mahaprana. Dvayamasi. Si, again, like bhavati. Si is also hrasva. So we are not supposed to prolong it. And here, kumbhadvayamasi. So vibudha kari kumbhadvayamasi. You can hear the dvitvam there. The d is doubling. Vibudha kari kumbhadvayamasi. Okay, we will do one pada at a time. That is one quarter at a time now. Karindranam shundan kanaka kadali kanda patalim
करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीं करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम्
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि.
Yes, we will do half verse at a time now. Karindranam shundan kanakakadalikaandapatalim ubhabhyamurubhyam ubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati.
कवीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि
सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि.
Uttamam. Now the entire verse. All of you, please be careful. There is another verse in Soundaryalahari. Kavindranam chetah kamalavana bala taparuchim. That is Kavindranam. Here it is Karindranam. So that there is a difference. Okay. So please be careful. Inadvertently, we should not interchange these two verses. Kavindranam is a separate verse. This is Karindranam. Ra. Okay, so please be careful with that, and we should not interchange even by mistake. Okay, so let us do the entire verse now. Karindranam shundan kanakakadali kandapatalim ubhabhyamurubhyam ubhayamapi nirjitya bhavati सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि. Vihan.
करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणतिकठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणतिकठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि.
Uttamam, Vihan. So 2 questions here. One of you, you have asked me if it is bhavati in the second line. It is not bhavati. It is bhavati. So it is only a hrasva or a short letter. So please note here, second line, it is bhavati. It is not bhavati. No, that is not correct. And also, vidhignye, the other question is, vidhignye, in that only dhi is mahaprana. Vidhignye, there it should not be pronounced as a mahaprana. This letter is gnya, like jnanam. Okay, exactly like the same letter is there here also, but different gunitakshara, that's all. Jnanam, it is a samyuktakshara. Okay, it consists of j and ny. And here it is a. So gne. In jnanam it is j, ng and a. So that is how the letter is formed. Vidhignye. There is no mahaprana for gne. Vidhignye. Okay, that is how it should be pronounced. I hope that's clear. So these were the 2 doubts. Okay. The dirgha e is given in any of your texts, bhavati, that is an error. It is a hrasva, bhavati. Both words are there in Sanskritam. Bhavati is there, bhavati is also there, but there is a difference in meaning. So we should stick to bhavati. We should not prolong it as bhavati. Okay, I think there are no more questions with reference to this verse. We'll move to the next verse, Prithvi. Parajetum rudram.
Parajetum rudram. Parajetum rudram.
Dviguna sharagarbhau girisute.
Dviguna sharagarbhau girisute. Dviguna sharagarbhau girisute.
Nishangau janghete.
Nishangau janghete. Nishangau janghete.
Vishama vishikho badhamakrita.
Vishama vishikho badhamakrita. Vishama vishikho badhamakrita.
Yadagre drishyante.
Yadagre drishyante. Yadagre drishyante.
Dasha sharaphala padayugali.
Dasha sharaphala padayugali. Dasha sharaphala padayugali.
So as you all might have already realized, we are not supposed to pause after Yugali. So you see a hyphen there. It is a samasta padam. We have to continue chanting as pada yugali nakha grachadmanaha. So now I will teach it in that way. The first time I thought it might be easier for you to just get familiar with the word. Now we will chant pada yugali nakha grachadmanaha together. Pada yugali nakha grachadmanaha.
पादयुगली नखाग्रच्छद्मानः पादयुगली नखाग्रच्छद्मानः
सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः
सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः
Uttamam. Parajetum rudram. So if you clearly, keenly listen to how we pronounce rudram, there is a dvitvam there also. D is doubling, right? Rudram. So dvitvam there. Dviguna shara garbhau. Bha is mahaprana. Giri sute. Nishangau. Janghe. Gha is mahaprana. Te. Vishama vishikho. Kho is mahaprana there. Badha. There, Badha Makrita. Dha is Mahaprana. Badha Makrita. So if you see the, it should not be prolonged. Badha Makrita. It is a Hrasva, short letter. Yadagre. Again, Dvitvam here. Yadagre. You see that G is doubling. Yadagre. Drishyante. This letter here is Dr. Please note, it is Dr, like Drishtihi. Okay. It should not be chanted as Dru. It is not Dru. So the difference is, if it is Dru, it would be this, you see this Rudram, right? So this Dra with an U matra, that is Ukara, Gunitaksharam, that would become Dru. That is not what we have here. This is Dr, which is Dada, Didi, Dudu, Dr, that one. That just the plain Gunitaksharam. It is not a Samyuktaksharam. Whereas here Dra has D and R, two Vyanjanas. So we need to be clear about this difference, because there is a tendency to chant it as drushyante or drushyam. That's not correct. So yadagre drishyante dashashara phalaha. Pha is mahaprana. Visarga followed by pa, upadhmaniya. So dashashara phala pada yugali. Like I already said, we don't pause here. Pada yugali nakha grachadmanaha. So this entire word, Pada Yugali Nakha Grachadmanaha, we chant at a stretch. You can pause here. You can take a breath after that. Sura Makuta Shanaika Nishitaha. Okay. So let us do one pada at a time. That is 1/4 at a time. Parajetum Rudram Dviguna shara garbhau girisute.
Parajetum rudram dviguna shara garbhau girisute. Parajetum rudram.
Your video and audio both are stuck, Prithvi. Unable to hear you. Okay, let me do one thing. Prithvi, is your connection okay now?
Yes, Akka.
Okay. Parajetum rudram Dviguna shara garbhau girisute.
Parajetum rudram dviguna shara garbhau girisute. Parajetum rudram dviguna shara garbhau girisute.
Nishangau janghete vishama vishikho badhamakrita.
निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत
यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः
यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः
सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः
सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः.
Now we will do half verse at a time. Parajetum rudram द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत
यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः
यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः.
Okay, now the entire verse. Parajetum rudram द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः
पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः.
Prithvi. Here there is a question. Nakhagrachadmanaha. There is a dvitvam in that word also. Nakhagra. So there g is dvitvam, but generally dvitvam is heard more clearly when it is a hrasva. So when it is preceded by hrasva, like here, for example, nakhagra. So a is there, but even there is a dvitvam. Nakhagra. So g is doubling. Nakhagrachadmanaha. And here even the d here before dmanaha, nakhagrachadmanaha. So if you clearly listen to it, you will be able to understand how where exactly you have dvitvams. So like I always say, sometimes we are so used to the pronunciation that we don't really pay attention that there is a dvitvam there. So automatically we will be chanting it as a dvitvam. For example, when there's words like mitram, kausalya, these words, actually speaking, there is a dvitvam in those words. So even if we don't point out, just by listening, you will pick up the correct pronunciation. Okay, so now we will move to the last verse for today, that is 84, Shivani. Shrutinam murdhanah.
Shrutinam murdhanah. Shrutinam murdhanah.
Dadhati tava yaushe kharataya.
Dadhati tava yaushe kharataya. Dadhati tava yaushe kharataya.
Mama pyetau matah.
Mama pyetau matah. Mama pyetau matah.
Shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau.
Shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau. Shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau.
Yayof padyam pathah.
Yayof padyam pathah. Yayof padyam pathah.
Pashupati jata juta tatini.
Pashupati jata juta tatini. Pashupati jata juta tatini.
Yayor laksha lakshmihi.
Yayor laksha lakshmihi. Yayor laksha lakshmihi.
Aruna hari chuda mani ruchihi.
Aruna hari chuda mani ruchihi. Aruna hari chuda mani ruchihi.
Shrutinam murdhanaha. Dha is Mahaprana. Dadhati. So please note, in Sanskritam you have dadati and dadhati. Both are there. So the meaning changes. So here second letter is Mahaprana. So dadhati. Tava yau shekharataya. Kha is Mahaprana. Mamapyetau mataha. Shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau. Dhehi means keep. Now this distinction is very important. You have dehi and dhehi in Sanskritam. Dehi, that is with an alpa prana da or tatha da, the third letter in that varga. Dehi means give. Like bhavati bhikshan dehi, for example. Dehi means give. Dhehi with the mahaprana means keep. So there is a huge difference in the meaning. So even in Gita Govindam of Jayadeva, our Guru Mata Anantalakshmi Natarajan Mahodaya always points out. So in the 19th Ashtapadi, you have this Smara Garala Khandanam Mama Shirasi Mandanam Dhehi Pada Pallava Mudaram. So there it is Dhehi, keep, same, whichever, the same word which we have here. So there is a tendency to sing or chant it as Dehi. That completely changes the meaning. Dehi means give. Dehi means keep. The reason I'm telling you this difference and the reason I'm emphasizing on this is so that you remember clearly that we should not interchange Dehi and Dehi. For example, here, Dayaya Shirasi Charanau Dehi means Dayaya means with a lot of kripa, mercy, with a lot of karuna. Charanau, that is feet. Shirasi Dehi. Shirasi is on the head. Dehi means keep. Okay. So therefore, the meaning will completely change when you chant it as Dehi. So Dehi with a small da or an alpaprana da means give. Dehi, the word which is here with the Mahaprana dha means keep. Therefore, we should be very careful in this distinction between Alpapranas and Mahapranas. We should never take them for granted and compromise on chanting them correctly because the entire meaning changes. Also, they are there for a particular purpose, right? Sanskritam has this. So we have to respect the language and differentiate between Alpaprana, Mahaprana. Also, when you want to experience the benefits of chanting, that is as a means of breath control, etc., all that you will experience well only if all the rules of chanting are followed correctly. For Mahapranas, you use more of your breath, right? So you all must have experienced by now, all of you who are practicing chanting aloud. So therefore, for multiple reasons, we must differentiate clearly Alpapranas and Mahapranas while chanting. Okay. So Shirasi Dayaya Dhehi Charanau De Mahaprana. Yayov Padyam. So Visarga followed by Pa. Yayov Padyam. It is a Upadhaniya. So Yayov Padyam Pathaha. Tha is Mahaprana. Pashupati Jatajuta Tatini. So here please note ta and ta differentiation. Tatha dadhana and tatha dadhana. You know, there are two different vargas, right? Pashupati, ti. Jata, ta. Juta, again ta. Ta, here it is ta. Then again ti, tatini. Very beautiful to listen. We should be clear not to interchange ta and ta there. Pashupati Jata Juta Tatini. Okay. Yayor Laksha Lakshmihi. This ra should be heard clearly. Yayor Laksha Lakshmihi. Aruna Hari Chudamani Ruchihi. Okay, so now let us okay, before we go, Chitra Bhagini says in book it is given as Dehi. That would be a mistake, Bhagini. It is Dehi. It is Mahaprana itself. Okay, it is not Alpaprana. Again, like I said, this Dehi, sometimes even while printing, they tend to interchange. But we should not. They are two different verbs in Sanskritam. Dehi means give. Dehi means keep. So we need to be conscious of that difference and chant correctly. We will do one pada at a time. Shrutinam murdhanaha dadhati tava yaushe kharataya.
Shrutinam murdhanaha dadhati tava yaushe kharataya. Shrutinam murdhanaha dadhati tava yaushe kharataya.
Mama pyetau mataha shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau.
Mama pyetau mataha shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau. मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी
ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी
ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
Uttamam. Now let us do half verse at a time. Shrutinam murdhanaha dadhati tavayau kharataya mamapyetau mataha shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानः दधति तव यौशेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ श्रुतीनां मूर्धानः दधति तव यौशेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ
ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
Okay, now the entire verse. Shrutinam murdhanaha dadhati tavayau kharataya mamapyetau mataha shirasi dayaya dhehi charanau yayoh padyam pachaha पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः
श्रुतीनां मूर्धानः दधति तव यौशेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पाठः पशुपतिजटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः श्रुतीनां मूर्धानः दधति तव यौशेखरतया मामाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी तयोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः.
Uttamam. So one of you requested for 83 again. We will do all the verses again like every class. I will repeat 81 to 84. Okay, so any doubts you can pay keen attention and get them clarified. Gurutvam vistaram kshitidharapati parvati nijat nitam badachidya tvayi harana rupena nidadhe ataste vistirnaha gururayamashesham vasumatim नितम्बप्राग्भारः स्थगयति लघुत्वन्नयति च करीन्द्राणां शुण्डान् कनककदलीकाण्डपटलीम् उभाभ्यामूरुभ्याम् उभयमपि निर्जित्य भवति सुवृत्ताभ्यां पत्युः प्रणति कठिनाभ्यां गिरिसुते विधिज्ञे जानुभ्यां विबुधकरिकुम्भद्वयमसि पराजेतुं रुद्रं द्विगुणशरगर्भौ गिरिसुते निषङ्गौ जङ्घेते विषमविशिखो बाढमकृत यदग्रे दृश्यन्ते दशशरफलाः पादयुगलीनखाग्रच्छद्मानः सुरमकुटशाणैकनिशिताः श्रुतीनां मूर्धानः दधति तव यौशेखरतया ममाप्येतौ मातः शिरसि दयया धेहि चरणौ ययोः पाद्यं पाथः पशुपति जटाजूटतटिनी ययोर्लाक्षालक्ष्मीः अरुणहरिचूडामणिरुचिः. Okay, so we don't have time for individual chanting. Let me see if there are any other questions here on okay, so while explaining okay, Devi and Devi. Okay, Devi is very, I mean, I will just explain it in simple language without going into too much of grammar. Devi is first case, that is in English grammar, it would be first case. So Devi, as in when Devi is used as a subject. Okay. Devi, when you say Hrasva, that is Devi, a short letter, it refers to vocative case. That is when you address, Hey Devi. So when you're addressing Devi, it would be what we call Sambodhana in Sanskritam or vocative case in English. When you're addressing Devi, Hey Devi, then it would be Hrasva. Devi is the first, Prathama Vibhakti, or the first case. Okay. I hope the difference is clear. So every Hrasva Dirgha makes a difference grammatically in Sanskrit. Next question. Any tips to clearly pronounce the Mahaprana? Okay. Venkatesh Bhatt Mahodaya. So it is quite natural that when you're chanting for the first time, you might require more time to identify the Mahaprana, and also, inadvertently you might chant the preceding letter or the letter after that, the succeeding letter as Mahaprana. That is okay. But while practicing, if you are very cautious as to which is the Mahaprana, which is why in these slides we have highlighted the Mahaprana for you, so that it draws your attention immediately to that particular letter. But like I always say, we should not rely too much on these highlights. We should be able to identify the Mahapranas as they are, as in when you see a letter, without the highlights. So please do not get too used to having these highlights, because the aim of this course is also to develop your skill in reading any Sanskrit work or any stotram for that matter. So you pick up a new stotram also in any book, you should be able to chant Mahaprana, Alpaprana properly without the highlight. So this is just a tool, an aid. The highlight is just a tool initially. One thing I would suggest is, I keep repeating this, Shravanam, go on listening to the chanting. So then automatically it gets registered, okay? And secondly, after that, please chant slowly initially. So if you take the verse on the screen, Shrutinam Murdhanah, it is okay if you pause after each word to get the letters correctly. Okay, because if you practice wrong, then you need to unlearn it and learn the correct pronunciation. So it is okay to read each word slowly and read each line multiple times till you get it perfectly. Okay, and that is one more tip. And with practice, you will definitely be able to differentiate. One more tip I could suggest here is to go through the Varnamala. So the very first class, if you remember, in this course, or for that matter in any chanting course, you will have the first lesson as the Varnamala and the chart of letters. So there in the Vyanjanani, you would have learned ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. So just to read that aloud. So ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. So make it a point to chant, to read only the second and the fourth letter of each varga as a Mahaprana. So if you keep reading that, then you will also develop this practice of not interchanging Alpaprana, Mahaprana. Ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. Cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. So when you say this, only the second, fourth letter are Mahapranas. So differentiate between the first and the third and the second and the fourth. So if you do this exercise just with the Varnamala chart and repeat reading it, I think it would also help you in chanting the verses and to see that you do not interchange. Okay. Yes, I think Madhuri Bhagini also agrees. Daily reading Varnamala loudly for clear Mahapranas. I completely agree with that, because that is how, young children also who are learning any language for the first time, that is how they also get familiar with the nuances of pronunciation. Okay, these are some tips. So as usual, let us conclude with Shanti Mantraha and we will meet next class. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you so much to all of you and to all the panelists. I think one of them has also said panelists are doing a great job. Yes, Indira Bhagini, I completely agree with you. Thank you all so much. Let us meet next class at the same time. Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram.